Hello, buddies, fellow Franco fans. I am your host, Jason Rudy, filmmaker from Desperate Visions Productions out of Sacramento, California. Let's see. This is episode 15, and this one is film number 74 from Jess Franco, Girls in the Night Traffic. Hope you enjoyed episode 14, the special shorter episode that dealt with the filmmaking problems of Mandinga and the killer wore black stockings. That one I knew I had to do on its own because there's quite a bit there, and I think it merited being a separate episode. So yeah, we're going to have some special episodes like that are going to vary from the usual review shows. So be on the lookout for some more of those. I have a few ideas of some I want to do, different interviews and different topics that go along with the Jess Franco universe. But yeah, thanks for joining us again. Hope your 2021's going pretty good so far. We're chugging along here in the Jess Franco universe, going through this Erwin C Dietrich collection. After we do the 16 films, we're about halfway there. This is the 8th one. I don't know, after we do the Dietrich stuff, we're probably going to go back. I might start with the beginning, maybe start with the early Francos and then work forward. And then when we have guest reviewers, maybe pop in occasional different time frames, because I know I have some situations that I want to do with certain guests, so we'll see how that works out. But with this one, the Girls at Night Traffic, we're going to go ahead and start this up and give you all the credits and good stuff for that. So yeah, in this one you'll hear later on, Eric and I watched it, and it's not the strongest Franco film. It's a very different Franco film, and after listening to the Mandinga situation, you'll understand why these films are that way. This is Girls in the Night Traffic, is the DVD cover title. It's a Switzerland production in 1976. The original theatrical title in the country of origin is Mädchen im Ekterver. Girls in the Night Traffic. We also have the alternate title, Wild Lust, the West German theatrical hardcore version, Wild Lust. Sex im Nachtterven, Hot Sex in the Night Traffic. Let's see. Production company on this is Cinemec Production of Belgium. The theatrical distributor is Ascot Verlag of West Germany. The world sales is Elite out of Zurich. That was Dietrich's company, or I'm sure it still is, because they're still doing the Blu-rays and all that. So, timeline on this: they're shooting on the sets in Zurich was from March 8th to the 20th of 76. In Germany, they did a shoot on July 30th, and then Zurich. Played in Germany on July 30th in 76, and then Zurich, November 76. And Switzerland, December 11th, 78, Naples, June 6th of 80, and Rome, finally, in April 26th of 85. So yeah, it played for another 9 years after its German premiere. So that's interesting. The theatrical running time in Germany is, as Girls in Night Traffic, is 60 minutes, 42 seconds. The video, DVD, Blu-ray running times converted where necessary. The Ascot Elite Blu-ray is 71:32, and the German VHS, the X-rated version, is 96 minutes, 53 seconds. So about a 25-minute difference, give or take. Director on this is Jess Franco. Producer, Erwin C Dietrich. A Cinemec production for Ascot Distribution. Director of Photography, Peter Baumgartner. Editor, Peter Baumgartner. Music, Walter Baumgartner. And Eastman Color. So yeah, basically Dietrich had total control over this, because he had the Director of Photography, Peter Baumgartner, as the Director of Photography and the editor. So he made sure that he controlled what footage was put together and how it was assembled, because he wasn't happy with the previous situations. Cast: Esther Moger played Marty, also known as Gurley, Kali Hansa, Margit, Pilar Cole, a.k.a. Pilar Cole Espia, Eric Falk as Mustafa, Diata Fatu as Dancer in Silver Boots, Siag Sharif, Dancer at Turkish Brothel, Roman Huber, Pia's client with the striped tie, Kurt Minicki, the photographer and sex trafficker, Marlies Haas, Isabella, the female sex trafficker, Paul Nussbauer as Mr. Hekatel, the client who wants to make out with Kali Hansa at the Turkish brothel. That's the guy with singed hair that I talk about later. Production notes. A light-hearted quickie of very little substance, clearly dashed off in a week or so. Girls in the Night Traffic, also known as Makchin Ik Naktervin, is notable for being the first Franco film made entirely on studio sets, with no location shooting at all. When you consider how important location is to Franco's cinematic vision, being studio-bound must have chafed him terribly. He generally sought greater and greater freedom in his career, yet here he was, in the early 1976, working under what amounts to creative house arrest. So why did he tolerate it? The answer lies in Franco's alleged misuse of Dietrich's money, his illicit sales of the foreign rights to Dietrich's productions, and most of all, the world of trouble in which he found himself following production of Mandinga. It's clear that limiting Franco to studio-bound production was Dietrich's way of keeping the director busy on the strictest of leashes. Sorry. It's clear that limiting Franco to studio-bound production was Dietrich's way of keeping the director busy on the strictest of leashes, while getting him to work off his debts. 3 consecutive Franco quickies, Girls in Night Traffic, White Skin, Black Thighs, and Around the World in 80 Beds, aka Monoerotica, were shot in this way in just a few weeks, with casts made up almost entirely of Dietrich regulars. Only Kali Hansa is carried over from previous Franco productions. Jess would not be sent out on location again until June 76, and even then it was to shoot Jack the Ripper in and around Zurich, where Dietrich could closely monitor his progress. After that, Franco would spend 2 more years under the yoke of the Dietrich production house, with Peter Baumgartner and Rudolf Kutel in charge of the camera. No more shooting 2 films at the same time, and then selling the second film to another company. Every bit of footage that Franco shot for Elite Ascot Films in 76 and 1977 ended up in the appropriate Dietrich production. When Dietrich sat down to examine the problem, he discovered that Franco's debts had been piling up for at least 2 years beforehand. A document compiled by Dietrich made available to the author by Hugh Huber and Gustav Oberparleiter lists the various businesses and individuals to whom Franco owned sizable sums of money. Yeah, he basically owed private debts, French taxes to 2 different hotels, and then owned about 1,950 pounds to Ronald Weiss, Martin Steedle, and 2 others, and then, which would be in our time about 13,200 pounds. Must have been wages for the past films that he still hadn't paid them. Luckily for Franco, Dietrich possessed both a orderly mind and the necessary funds to handle the situation. He worked out a deal with the Mandinga producers and settled Franco's remaining debts, including a massive bill he'd run up at the Hotel Montebello in Variosta, Spain, which must have dated back to production on Kiss Me Killer and The Hot Nights of Linda in December 1973, which was 3 years before this. If word had got around that Franco was financially irresponsible, it could have led to bad publicity and even blacklisting. Such an outcome would have severely limited his future options. From Dietrich's point of view, if he sorted out Franco's debts, he could keep a tight rein on him as Elite's house director, safe in the knowledge that Franco was now beholden to him for settling his liabilities. We can at least understand why Franco agreed to work under such tight restraints during 76 to 77, and we also have a plausible psychological explanation for the marked increase in themes of coercion and imprisonment in his work during this period. Another striking feature of Girls in Night Traffic, White Skin, Black Thighs, and Mondo Erotica is the absence of Lena Romay. Just a couple of months earlier, Franco and Romay had essentially eloped together from the Hotel Quetzal in the south of France, leaving Romay's husband Ramon Ardid high and dry. For the remainder of Franco's Swiss sojourn, however, Romay's appearances in his films were greatly reduced. Perhaps she took time off from filmmaking to try and repair her marriage. Her absence was certainly unusual. She had been in all 25 of Franco's films between Les Ojos del Dr. Orloff, 1973, and To Die Marquis von Sade, 1975. So she had done 25 films in those 2 years. Probably a little less than 2 years. Suddenly, in the wake of the Mandinga controversy, she skipped Girls in the Night Traffic, White Skin, Black Thighs, and Moto Erotica, and took only a small role in Jack the Ripper. She returned to that fold for Elsa the Wicked Warden, playing the second female lead, but then disappeared again for another 5 films, from Love Letters of a Portuguese Nun all the way to Love Camp, her longest run of absence from the Franco filmography, before turning up again as the abused heroine in Wicked Women, 1977. Notably, this last film marked the end of her marriage to Ramon Ardid. Her divorce papers came through prior to shooting it in September of 1977. Notable mainly for being a hardcore title amid a slew of softcore projects, Girls in the Night Traffic is a genial waste of 90 minutes, not without charm, but definitely one of Franco's less thrilling efforts. Much of the appeal comes directly from the girls, who exude a warm and sensual self-confidence. As a piece of filmmaking, however, one has to say it's an underachiever. Yeah, the acting is really good in it, actually. That's one thing, watching it a second time. The performances are much better than what the film is, so that's definitely a lot better. Quite mellow for a Franco sex film, it lacks the friction of strangeness or sleaze that enlivens so many of the other Dietrich productions. So if you're looking for nastiness or some sort of illicit thrill, be warned, this is a lazy, lukewarm experience suitable for completists only, like me. And you, probably, if you listen to this show and you want to watch all Franco films. Cast and crew. Star of the show is the exuberant and playful Kali Hansa, already a familiar face in Franco's work thanks to her appearances in Las Abernales, Sinner, Silence of the Tombs, Sinister Eyes of Dr. Orloff, Countess Perverse, The Lustful Amazons, and The Gobblers. Hansa was a model from Cuba who Franco met in 1972 when she was dating Argentinian actor Alberto Del Blaze, who appeared in a slew of Franco films between 1970 and 74. According to Franco, Hansa eventually gave up her film career to return to Cuba and engage directly in political resistance to Fidel Castro. Let's see. As noted, there are no outdoor location shootings in this film, not even an establishing shot. The Turkish brothel at the end of the film appears to have been an actual bar, no doubt in Zurich. Other versions. The hardcore version, Wild Lust, runs for 93 minutes, while the softcore, Girls in Night Traffic, clocks in at just over 69 minutes. The extra material goes all the way. Penetration and erections are visible throughout, along with a certain amount of deep manual stimulation of vaginas. A stunt cock contributes the penetration shots for Eric Falk in the first scene, but Falk himself performs in the finale, climax and all. There is only one slight odd difference between the hard and soft versions. In the former, Mosier's sexual encounter with the kidnapper is divided into 2 halves, as if she's visited them for sex on 2 separate occasions. In the latter, the footage is combined into one scene, so the softcore cut actually makes more narrative sense. Alright, so, this film you can't get on DVD in America. You can just get the Ascot Elite Blu-ray that you can get through Amazon like the other Ascot Elite. Basically, the Dietrich films. That's his company, so that's the way to get some of those films, because not all of them's in the Full Moon Collection. This one you can't get in the Full Moon Collection in America as DVD. Like I said, you just had to get the Blu-ray for that. Worldwide, though, I'm sure it's different, but here in America, you just have to get the German region A, B, and C, basically region free, and actually ABC Blu-ray, and so that's that on that. Our mission statement again: praise and memory of Jess Franco, bringing the name and films of Jess Franco to new eyes and ears. Please download our episodes. It increases our numbers. If you just want to hit play and listen, that's cool. I appreciate that. But if you can just download it, and even if you're able to even rate and give us a rating on Amazon, on iTunes or Apple or any of your listening platforms, that really helps us out and moves the Franco Observer up their charts and helps us get more people and better audience and more ears on the show. So you can reach us at francoobserver@yahoo.com. You can check out our Instagram page, our Facebook page for the Franco Observer podcast. Please add us on those. I'm always adding new pictures. We've had a few people already add the pages and correspond with us. I always add all the new DVDs I buy weekly, the T-shirts, the books, any Franco stuff I take pictures of. I always have content on there, so if you want to check us out on Instagram, there's always pictures on there. And, of course, Facebook, the Franco Observer page. You'll always get updates on when the episodes are released and content pictures, and you can reach us and make suggestions and films you want us to review. We're going to do some of those coming up in 2021. People have been reaching out to us and asking us to review certain ones and our opinions on that, so we might have some listener inspired episodes and have those with those and branch out a little bit and do some new things. So with the Franco Observer podcast, we're always trying to keep fresh and keep current current as in these old films, but to always keep the show going. Been adding trailers where I can find them, trying to add other content and cool things to the show. Gonna maybe add some new sound clips and maybe add a bumper, and there's some new things we're working on. So if you like us, please let us know. Check us out, tell your friends, all that good stuff. So after this, you'll hear the trailer for the girls, after this, you'll hear the trailer. Excuse me. After this, you'll hear the trailer for the Girls in Night Traffic, and bumper music, of course, on both sides of that. And then the review portion for Girls in Night Traffic, and then that will be the episode. So, all right, be listening to you and seeing you again very soon. Once again, this was episode 15, Girls in Night Traffic, film 74 by Jess Franco. Hope you enjoy the review portion and the trailer. See you next time on episode 16.
Stoßverkehr.
Probehäppchen. Und noch eins.
Schnellverkehr.
Oh, diese Türken, die haben das Bumsen raus.
Fremdenverkehr.
Das ist ein Raum mit Vieren. Ich kiebitze nur.
Kreuzungsverkehr.
Hallo! Schwesterchen! Wie kommst du hierher? Menschenskind, ich bin gekidnappt worden. Ich auch.
Ohne dich wäre ich doch völlig aufgeschmissen. Wenigstens einer, der mir die Hand reicht.
Oh, Teufel, das stinkt.
Im türkischen Puff wird's nach Knoblauch riechen.
Stille.
Das ist das Letzte. Da schlafen einem die Beine ein.
Weil ganz tief schlafen.
Was?
Fernverkehr.
Oh, nein.
Intimverkehr.
Mein Muschelbuschel.
Du tust, was ich dir sage. Küss sie. Küss sie. Küss mich.
Umleitungsverkehr. Notverkehr.
Danke.
Oh, halt mich fest, Mann. Die hat ein Sitzfleisch.
Meine Damen und Herren, Sie werden eine sensationelle Schau sehen.
Nachtverkehr.
Hello, buddies. Welcome once again to the Franco Observer podcast. I am your host, Jason Rudy, and I'm joined once again by my reliable reviewer and friend for many episodes, Mr. Eric Whitwell.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Bien, bien.
So tonight we watched a Franco film called Girls in the Night Traffic, made in 1976. And he shot this March 8th to March 20th, like 12 days, and that's probably being generous. It's like a really quick film, probably even close to like 10-day shoot. Let's see, original theatrical title, Mädchen im Nacht... Oh, God, this is a hard one. Mädchen im Nachtverkehr, Girls in the Night Traffic. Also, alternative title is Wild Lust, hardcore version, Wild Lust. Hebrew Sex und Nachtverkehr, the West German softcore theatrical version. Hot Sex in the Night Traffic. Hot Sex in the Night Traffic, you might want to watch out for cars in the street. And then, I don't know if Hot Sex in the Night Traffic is a good idea. But also we had Le Porn VIP, the Italian theatrical title. All that good stuff. Yeah, it was shot March 8th, 20th, 76, and it came out in July 30th of 76. I'm going to go through the usual deal. I'm going to read the synopsis, and then I'm going to ask Eric what he thought of the film, and then we're going to talk and get over that good stuff. So, all right, the synopsis. 3 beautiful hookers who share an apartment recount their experiences with a variety of clients. Marty, a.k.a. Girly, describes her encounter with handsome Turkish stud called Mustafa. Pia recalls a client who wanted her to act the part of his daughter while he jerks off watching her play with herself. And Margit trumps the others with the story of a man who insisted on making love to her inside of a coffin. The girls perform a sex show at a nightclub, a place many of their clients frequent. Marty accepts an offer of a photo session from a filmmaker and his girlfriend. The next day she phones her friends to say she's been taken off for an around-the-world promotional shoot. After a while, Pia and Margit become suspicious. Margit meets up with the filmmaker at his apartment. She is chloroformed unconscious and sold to white slavers. After Margit disappears, a melancholy Pia is left on her own. Deciding to investigate, she falls into the same trap, and eventually all 3 girls find themselves in Turkey, working at the same brothel. Their pimp is none other than their one-time client, Mustafa. So, before we go into what this film was made and how it was made and how quick and the stories behind it and all that kind of stuff, let's just talk about the film itself. So, Eric, what did you think about the movie?
It's not a movie I could like recommend to people. Like, oh, you're gonna love this movie. But there were some scenes in it that had me laughing, and that were just so random that it was worthwhile seeing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like one that popped into my head when you said that was like Jess Franco's voiceover. Like that's the first thing I think of that was funny. Him doing the voice of like when he was the parrot and other things. Like like he was doing that for like 1 or 2 of the guys during their sex scenes in Turkish, which was weird.
Well, even the guy that took her, the third girl that took her to have sex with her in a coffin. Yeah, like it was the coffin of his dead wife. His dead wife used to fuck him in that coffin.
That's right, Collie Hunts's character.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, she also passed away in this coffin.
That's right. I kind of was glazed over that scene. Yeah. But yeah, as you're saying that, it is very disturbing. Yeah.
But then he whips out his penis, right? And it's just a close-up of his penis just popping out. And he says, the gondola. Yeah. And then he's on top of her going, the gondola. That's what it sounded like to me. He kept saying gondola over and over. And that cracked me up. That just cracked me up.
Yeah, there was very, I mean, it was fast-paced. Before it is that, I mean, there's 2 versions of this. There's like the softcore version, which we watched because it's shorter and we wanted to kind of knock through this film, and
and it's less uncomfortable.
Yeah, and because this version we watched was like 71 minutes, and then the full hardcore version's like 96 minutes, so it's like an extra 25 minutes of stuff, and you could tell where the cuts were in the short version we were watching, because there's one scene where like a girl was getting ready to go down on her knees in front of the guy, and then like her head popped back up when she was finished. Yeah. Like, wow, that was a quick job, But I know there was. So the next film we had already reviewed, White Skin and Black Thighs. Got the title right, and the lead in that was the second lead in this, Pilar Cole. I thought she I was really amazed by her, and Kali Hansa were two that I known, and then Esther Moser was a favorite of Eric's from the other films that she's been in.
Yes.
Voodoo Passion, and of course White Skin, Black Thighs, and a few of the other ones. Yeah, she pops up in quite a few of the Dietrich films. She's one of the Dietrich stock actresses. Yeah, she's pretty cool in this. She's the one that masturbates too with a cucumber. So, and there is a masturbation scene in this with Pilar. She masturbates with a mannequin's hand, and Eric was in the kitchen when I was watching this scene, and he heard me go, "Whoa, yeah!" And I was laughing. I was like, "Oh shit!" Because I was waiting for a masturbation with a object with the letter C. And this was a mannequin's hand, but the finger was kind of in a claw position. So maybe I'll say claw, but I'm not gonna probably get.
I think that counts. I think that counts.
Yeah,
I think that counts.
And then I was telling Eric too. I'd never seen a movie, and I've seen my fair share of X-rated films from '70s to 2000 something, and I've never seen any masturbation scene with a mannequin hand. If anybody out there has seen one in a film or know the answer, let us know at Franco Observer at yahoo.com.
Mannequin hand on male or female?
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Well, I'm not talking about your home movies. I'm talking about something Jess Franco made. But there's yes, and like I was remarking, like that was the first time I'd seen that, because I've seen women masturbate with a lot of different objects, and some that I've described in this past podcast episodes. According to the C objects, the candle, the champagne, the cigarette, the cucumber, and then of course other films. But that's what not this podcast is about. This podcast is about just Franco films, so I won't go into that side story. But let's first, before we start breaking down the film, the Franco list that I go by every film on every episode. This film, okay. So these three films, Girls in the Night Traffic, White Skin, Black Thighs, and Mondo Erotica, a.k.a. Around the World in 80 Beds, these are three that are all shot on sets in the Dietrich studios, so these have no exterior shots whatsoever. And reading Flowers of Perversion, Stephen Thrower's book, he had talked about how that must have really stymied Franco's creativity with that, because he really likes to shoot the locations, and a lot of his movies are locations. And the beautiful locations like Epicurus Lesbos and Marquis de Sade and just all the films, Slaves, all that had beautiful locations, and this had no locations, just the sets that we've seen, the same walls and everything. But like we were talking about, it's cool to see the same sets and the same props moved around and used in different scenes.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're recognizing walls, recognizing furniture,
The red couch you had mentioned, or the red bed.
The red bed with
Yeah, okay, and so the sheepskin. The sheepskin is in like almost every scene in this film. The sheepskin rug is in the three main gals. As I go through the film, break it down. Yeah, it's in their bedroom. It's in the flashback scenes of the painter when she talks about meeting the past roommates when she first met the gal with her boyfriend she called Daddy. It's a painter. They had it in the back of their studio with the black walls, which is the same black walls as the coffin was in. They used the red wall for their apartment, and the red wall was in the Turkish scene. I liked Franco's shot for what Turkey was. It was just a little statue of a building that was a stand-in, which is pretty funny. So going back to the list, this had no body of water, no sailboat. And as I was talking to, thinking back introspectively, I have a feeling that maybe the sailboat in a lot of his films, that starts off a lot of his films, is like going on a cruise, going on a voyage. You're about to undertake a voyage, going on a film. It takes you to a faraway place, a place you've never seen before. You're going on a trip for however long you watch the film, and then that's maybe what the sailboat represents. I'm not sure. As I keep looking and reading, it might come out and say, who knows. Dance scenes. There are dance.
No, was there?
There's that sex scene when she's in the club in the cage, which is funny because there's a scene later on where they're putting on a performance, the three gals, and the two of them are like guards, and they kidnap the girl in a cage. But then you see one of the three leads. He uses footage from another film, and you see the back of her. Eric actually caught this. You see the back of Esther Moser talking to Eric Falk from Downtown in a different shirt while she's in the same room as herself in the guard's uniform in Girls in Night Traffic. So it was weird. Performing
like the sex show. Yeah.
Yeah. And but there is a club scene because he uses the footage of everybody sitting in the rattan chairs looking toward the camera that was used in the past Dietrich films of the club, the general black walls, rattan chairs, colored lights from the ceiling, and the same 10 people in that shot.
Yeah, definitely.
So you see that. Palm trees, of course, there was palm trees because that was the thing, and he uses the jungle sound.
He uses the jungle noise for the club scene.
Eric caught that. He's like, "Wow, this is it's like black walls was a simulated jungle," and he had the jungle sounds were just going like full bore till of course, sheepskin rug. And masturbate with a C item. I'd mentioned the hand and that. And red lights. There's tons of red lights in this. In the Turkish whorehouse scenes and their room and everything. Let's see my notes on this. All right. So the DVD that we watched, I went ahead and got the Ascot Elite Blu-ray. I got this from Davade storefront. Davee Davade, or Daavaadee, and this has the softcore version of 72 minutes and the X-rated version as an Easter egg. And it's funny. This is a really cool DVD or Blu-ray because it's got like an audio commentary or an audio interview with Jess Franco. I think it's in German. It's got tons of trailers. It's got a trailer they made for this film, but it's a newer trailer. You could tell because it's got video titles on it. But the cool thing is, I got this is because it has the triple X-rated version, which is like a DVD-R version. It was definitely a big step down in quality, but it's the full version. But what's really funny about this is the chapter stops. Because it looks like it's like a splash of paint or something on the pictures. And we were laughing. We're like, oh, there's like jizz or something. And then as you watch the movie, there's a scene where they're in the Turkish whorehouse. And they're like shooting loads on this painting. And he's like throwing milk at it, basically. And that's the same splatter that's shown in the chapter stops. So basically, the chapter stops on this Blu-ray are jizz. So,
yeah, it was funny. Like when we saw, we're like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious!" And then you like put the chapter thing up in the person's face, and we're like, "Ha, you know."
Yeah, you can almost like do your, shoot your load on different people's faces and on the backs of the thing. You're like, "Oh, this is fun." You go back and forth, forward, backwards.
But yeah, that just came out of nowhere. That was hilarious because like that's the Mustafa like having sex with them, and then every time he would like come, it's just. You would see a splash of milk on this Turkish painting.
Yeah, Eric Falk's in this as well. He's Mustafa, and I don't know. I've never seen a guy looking like him named Mustafa. That was kind of cool with him, because he's like this Turkish, Mustafa. He's like this, pimp, but he's just
this Turkish pimp that looks extremely German.
Yeah, extremely German with his black leather jacket and his big fucking goofy smile. They should have had Mustafa as the guy in the end that was like all over Kali Hansa in the club, and like when the other girl came in, when the two girls were sitting there, the guy with the fried hair, bad mustache that was like talking to them, and like, oh, that guy's really, that guy's really enjoying himself right now.
Yeah.
Look how happy that guy is, or something.
Well, yeah, because all of a sudden he was talking to the one girl, and all of a sudden, Kali shows up.
Kali Hansen's character shows
up. She goes, oh, hey. And he's like, she runs over there all excited to see her. And he's like, oh, shit, two now. Oh, wow, this is amazing.
And his hair was like so fried. I was calling out his hair. It's like he has this like feathered, blow dried out like hairstyle, but all of his hair looks like it's singed. Like it was like he just ran through like a fucking firewall or something. Just kept his head down and just singed all the top of his hair.
It's probably years of hairspray.
Or something. It's like if you ever burned your mustache or burned your hair or something. How it looks like that's what But so we had the chapter stops of jizz. This is funny. Esther Moser. Esther Moser is Marte. She's in it. She's in quite a few Franco films. Kali Hansa, who I always dug, is in this. One cool thing that I learned about Kalle Hansa tonight, reading through the Flowers of Perversion book, he talks about star of the show is the exuberant and playful Kalle Hansa, already a familiar face in Franco's work thanks to appearances in Les Ebrenales, Sinner, The Secret Diary of an Nymphomaniac, Silence of the Tombs, The Sinister Eyes of Dr. Orloff, Countess Perverse, The Lustful Amazon, and La Glutones. Hansa was a model from Cuba who Franco met in 1972 when she was dating Argentina actor Alberto Delves, who appeared in a slew of Franco films between 1970 and 74. According to Franco, Hansa eventually gave up her film career and her dalliances with Delves to return to Cuba and engage directly in political resistance to Fidel Castro. So yeah, Kalle Hansa went against Castro, so that's cool.
She's a strong woman, man. I could see her taking out some people with a gun.
Yeah, she has like a lot of energy to her, and like I was mentioning, like she always looks like she's like playful and happy and very animated, and she has this like joyful like air about her, even when she's like supposed to be unhappy. She just looks like she's always happy,
Yeah.
And she has the most amazing nipples I've ever seen on a person. Her nipples are like little like the first digit of your pinky. They're like that long, like 3-inch nipples. I've never seen nipples like that.
Like a baby's big toe.
Yeah, it was just crazy. It was just like, because her body was so smooth. Here I go again. I sound like a pervert.
It's fine.
But yeah. I mean, Jess Franco. You watch a Jess Franco film to see naked women, and chances are everything about it. So her body's just so amazing. So, she's so sensitive with her body, and she gets aroused very quickly on film, and you see it, and just her nipples just grow, and so far, and they're not at a point too. They're like squared at the ends, and they're very long. I was just amazed. I was like, look at her nipples, man! Oh my god!
Yeah,
it was just crazy. Everything about her. So that was funny.
She's cool.
Yeah,
but I gotta say, it was kind of funny. The one scene that I kind of laughed with Kalle. So after they all described their night. Of like, oh my gosh, what a night, and they do that little double massage thing, which was
like in the first 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah, which was incredible. They all go into the living room, and then they all start practicing fellatio on bananas.
Yeah,
and it was kind of funny because you could see like Kalle was using her teeth a lot on that because the tip of the banana just kept being sculpted.
Yeah, I know. It was so funny. Yeah, there was. Well, we'll get to that cool part.
Okay.
So yeah, it starts off. You see, like he was talking about. It starts off with these 3 girls like sleeping together on the giant sheepskin, and the sheepskin I noticed was like about an 8 foot or a 10 foot by 10 foot. Like Eric said, California king size.
Yeah, they're like, California king size.
Yeah, so they basically have like this apartment, and they have like a mattress on the floor, and they have this giant sheepskin rug that covers the whole mattress. I was quite envious of that. They also have like the cool door dingle things hanging in their door from the last 2 films. From
I think that's the actual name of it.
Door dingles. They got, let's see, so like this was made in 76, so they have posters for Diamonds Are Forever, The Man with the Golden Gun, The Magnificent Seven Ride Again, Viva James Bond poster, which I think was just some general James Bond poster. So you see them like sleeping there, and they wake up and they do the massage, because the Esther Mosher's character mentions that she's sore from Mustafa, and he's such a lover, and wore her out and stuff. So Kalle Hansa's character and Pilar Cole's character, Margit and Pilar, Margit and Pia, they give her a massage, and quite a good massage, quite erotic looking. Franco has a cool shot where he like puts the girls on top of each other and then like has their vaginas all lined up and tries to get all 3 in the same shot. That was kind of interesting. Oh yeah, actually, I'll tell you what I thought of the film after I go through this, because I kind of skipped over that. But yeah, so you have the 3 girls sleeping in the wake-up massage. Eric Falk, of course, plays Mustafa, and when one line that still confounds me, and I don't understand why, it's Pilar Cole. She's talking to her John in her flashback scene, and she says, "Oh, you prefer roast beef to ham." I don't know what she's trying to imply, the roast beef to ham. Maybe it's like a body part, maybe a vagina to an ass, or a young to old, or I don't know, roast beef to ham. I don't understand.
It could be like some other. It could be a saying in another language, but translates to English as that.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I'm curious.
But,
you could be right. What they should do is have the original language and then listen to what that is and then translate it, because it's probably translated odd, you know. But yeah, so you see Kali Hansa, the black walls and the coffin. You see the club scenes. So like, what's cool about this too is, like I was talking to Eric, is like, as a filmmaker, you could watch a lot of these and study their setups for their sets and see how they use things. Like they use the black walls in this, and like the scene where Kali Hansa's with her John in the coffin. They use that same black room with the walls in a scene later on with an artist painting as like his loft. Then they use those black walls again in one of the films we were watching where they're dancing on the floor and the fog coming up from White Skin, Black Thighs, which is the next film. They use that in that with the fog bottom. So yeah, it's cool to see. And then of course they're using the furniture and the different things, but they move all that stuff around. And so then it goes back to their room, and they're all worked up after the banana scene. Oh yeah, so the banana scene. So yeah, so they're basically talking, and the one girl's sleeping in the bed, and then Kali Hansa and Pilar's character get up and they go into the other room. They're talking about how much money they're going to make from being hookers and stuff. And then all of a sudden they just like take out the bananas and then just like start giggling and having fun and start like performing fellatio on the bananas. And then the third gal wakes up and joins in, and then they just start showing each other their different styles of giving head to bananas.
I liked Girly a lot.
Yeah. But what's funny is, like, I was sitting there and I was laughing watching this going, it's such a simple fucking scene. Just three beautiful women. Of course they're naked, that helps. But, even if they were fully clothed, they're just performing fellatio with a banana, and it's such a simple thing, but it's so mesmerizing. Everybody will stop and watch it. And it's 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes a little long, maybe like 5 minutes that, like, you can put in a film, and it's a funny scene. People remember it. It doesn't do anything, but it definitely adds something to your film, Yeah,
it's like it's a way to get away with showing a little bit of like a porn without showing any porn. Because like if they're clothed doing it, we're still going to watch it going like, oh my God, this is kind of turning me on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
and you're going to watch it and be positive about, like, laugh about it, or like, maybe be a little comfortable or like a little mesmerized, but you're not going to get mad, or you're not going to be like, angry. Or
it could be a scene that actually starts fetishes.
Yeah, could be.
Like all of a sudden people get like, oh, I got a banana fetish.
So then they go to, they get all worked up by then, and then they have, all three of them get together in the bed and start having sex, and then I said, okay, well, here's the 69 scene, and we were laughing because, and Eric's like, well, is that a 69 if it's three women? And I was like, well, I guess, but what would be the term for it? And then I said, well, if it's the three women, because they were, the way he had them framed too, it was cool because he had like one, kind of like in a triangle formation. He had the one gal on the bottom, and then he had the one facing and then the other one's facing the face to face. So it was like a triangle. So I said, well, it'd be like the Bermuda Triangle maybe, and it's like where you go to disappear, and but it was shot really cool, and actually it looked.
No, it was greatly framed.
It's of course, from being the sexual thing, it was really stylishly cool, and
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, he makes these porn scenes. I mean, that's what they are, porn scenes. But there's like the colors are beautiful, the angles are beautiful, even the softness, the
way he lit Pilar Cole a few times. I mentioned that when I was watching it. With her scenes, he shot her with a soft light on her face and her eyes, and the way he lit their hair, all three of the gals, and that was really, really well, because of course it was inside and he had that set conditions, but still it was definitely, he definitely frames the shot, and he uses a lot of the same shots with the overlay of the naked bodies, but it looks really cool how they're all entwined, and it's kind of hard to see who's who for a second, but it's really a very cool shot, like you were saying.
Oh yeah, the curves, the everything, yeah, it's beautiful. Actually, a really beautiful shot.
And then, you have that, and then it goes into that jungle scene we were talking about. Because at first you're watching it, you're like, because I kind of knew what was going to happen, but I thought she was really kidnapped. But it's weird because like they do this that stage routine where she's kidnapped, and she wakes up. Pilar wakes up, and she's in this cage, like this bamboo cage, like bamboo dolls or something. And then the two girls are like in the German thing, which is like Helga that they're going to, or Greta film that they're going to do later on, which they haven't done yet, but kind of like barbed wire dolls or something too. And Eric had wondered if their outfit was the one from Barbed Wire Dolls that Ramon Ardit's character was wearing, one of their jerseys. And it's funny too, their outfit, they had like a army like button up shirt and like no bra, no underwear, no pants, nothing, just a fucking shirt and like a belt, and that was their uniform. So, but I guess it covered and it worked. But yeah,
it was a club scene. It was a club scene.
But what's weird is, like I was trying to say, so like they basically have the scene where she's kidnapped and they're kind of like kidnapping her, and then later on, all three of them are like kidnapped for real. It's kind of like weird. It's like they put on this thing, and then I guess they were like, because you see this guy and woman filmmaker, and they're the ones that are basically chloroforming the girls that they take. Well, the guy basically they go home with this couple, and they have this set routine where they have champagne on ice, and they don't let them have it before the shoot, only after, and they have like this set routine where they go through this like. They have the same lines, so they're known for like doing the same script, how they kidnap people and sell them into slavery and stuff. So that was pretty twisted because they're like the swinger couple. And of course, they take all the pictures, have sex with the women, and then chloroform them and sell them to Mustafa, and then he takes them away. So you see that whole setup of that, and then too, you learn that when the gal is kidnapped, the first gal, and the other two are talking, you realize how they met each other, how. Pilar's character, Pia, was a sax player, which was kind of odd, and she liked to play her saxophone with her open shirt, with no bra, no underwear, and laying on her back on a sheepskin bed. And Eric remarked about her playing style.
I just thought it was kind of funny because like the way the music that she was playing was like almost like Turkish sounding, but like. Yeah,
and then like the bongos would come on when she'd play, and then she'd stop, and the bongos would stop as well as the saxophone. We're like, where the fuck's the bongos sound coming from? It comes from her fucking saxophone.
It comes from her soul.
Yeah,
but it's I was like, man, if she could play the saxophone that well, laying down, like it's really, really good.
Yeah, it was just weird that they made her a saxophone player. Like, I don't know, it was just weird. Like, okay, you're gonna be a saxophone, even though you're little. The saxophone's like your size. You're just gonna be like this saxophone player, and that's how you make money and like live, because she's talking about how she's gonna like play music with the saxophone, like make money to like pay for her rent and everything.
Yeah, well, not only that, like before, like it starts off with her recounting her night before, so she obviously was a successful prostitute on her own. Like obviously she gets Johns on her own. There's not needed for all three of them at all times, and all of a sudden they're both gone, and she's like, oh well, I guess I'll get into playing saxophone for a living.
Yeah, and then she talks about how she met Collie Hans's character and Margit. She basically was a burglar, and she was like trying to sneak into her house, and then Pia hits her on the head and like knocks her out, and then like she wakes up, and Eric remarked, this girl tried to break into her house, and now she's like completely naked except for her shirt, like sitting next to her smoking a cigarette, talking to her,
Yeah, like the burglar is now laying in her bed.
Yeah,
and she's just smoking a cigarette naked next to her, just totally comfortable. Like, hey, so. Why were you doing this?
Yeah.
Does this pay well?
I know, it was fucking stupid. And then
you can live here now.
So they go over that, and then like she's kidnapped, and then like I said, she goes to prostitution, and the whorehouse and that, and then you hear Franco's voiceover with the John and the Turkish whorehouse. It's funny. It's almost like the parrot voice, which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then they go into the masturbation of the mannequin hand scene, and then the saxophone bongos, and then we cut to the prostitution scene in the brothel, and where the cum shot on the picture. So yeah, and two, I don't know what that picture, who the picture was supposed to be on the wall in the Turkish whorehouse. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who that's, if it's supposed to be a religious icon or who that person is that they shoot the loads on. I'm gonna have to do a little research before I say anything, because I'm very curious, and I don't know if Franco got away with something he wasn't supposed to get away with, and nobody knew about it because this didn't play here or what. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I might be kind of curious what's. Watch the movie and you'll see what I mean. So you'll see what the. I don't know. It might be. I don't know if it's supposed to be Muhammad or what, but it's. I don't know, man. It's
a Turkish-looking man.
Yeah, it's a Turkish man smiling, and I don't know what it's supposed to be, but
it just got milk on his face.
Yeah, so let's leave it at that. But yeah, so that part was just kind of odd. I don't know. Okay, so now my feelings on this film. Yeah, I mean, this is a film for Franco completists. If you're a Franco fan, you're going to watch it. It's fun. I couldn't show this to anybody that's not a Franco fan. They probably wouldn't like it. I mean, they'd watch it just for they'd probably watch it for the porno version, maybe. I don't know, but nothing as anything substance. I liked it because Collie Hans's is cool, and I dig her. Pilar's in it, and she's like pretty amazing in this. Franco really like takes care of her. Pilar Cole's like really photographed well. There's a cool shot of her on the DVD, and that's a really good scene of her on the sheepskin. And she's on the sheepskin quite a bit, so I can't. But yeah, I don't know. I'd say as a grade, I'd probably give this like a D. I don't know. I mean, it's probably, I don't know, looking at my notes here, of the 14 films we'd watched, it's probably about as good as White Skin, Black Thighs, maybe. I mean, it was made right before. Or did you like Black Skin, White Thighs better?
No, honestly, like, I might have liked, I don't know if I like this film more.
Yeah, White Skin, Black Thighs is pretty base, and it was made right after this. So
this one, it's just like the good scenes were just really well shot, and like there's just scenes in it that just stood out, that I'm just made me laugh, or just I appreciated being able to see that scene, like even the colors and the setups of it. The plot isn't,
Yeah, I mean, and Diata Fatu, the dancer in the silver boots, she's in this and White Skin, Black Thighs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they carry with the same characters. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that one I watched third, so maybe it was a little newer to me. So but I mean, everybody has a different opinion, of course.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would probably rate this below that, but I see your point too, and maybe rate this above. But I don't know. To me, they're about the same. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say probably about the same. It's a.
Both have their highs and lows. I
Yeah.
mean, there's some cool stuff in that, and there's some cool stuff in this. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It was shot well, and there's some decent stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'd say give it a solid pass. Don't spend the $30-$40 on it. Like I did. But yeah, well, it's cool. But like I said, what is cool about this Blu-ray is it has the really good, beautiful softcore version that looks amazing on Blu-ray. It has the full X-rated hardcore version as an Easter egg and like a VHS DVD-R quality, maybe. It's definitely a beaten version. And what's weird is like we watched the trailer for this.
the X-rated, the triple X is a beaten version.
Yeah, I know, subliminal. But what's weird is like we watched the trailer for this, and there's like a couple of the X-rated scenes in the trailer that was like Blu-ray quality.
Yeah.
But the X-rated version on here was not Blu-ray quality. So I don't know if they just upscaled it for that trailer, or if there is a better quality X-rated copy that they're just not putting out, or what. But I don't know. But like I was saying, what is cool about this DVD or this Blu-ray is that, like I said before, it's cool to watch a movie one way and then watch a movie where all the stars are fucking, so that's kind of cool. Like, I wonder how she looks like when she's doing this. Wow, now I get to see, wow, what happened if these, hey, there they are, So that part is kind of cool, It's very rare that you can do that with any Blu-ray you buy, There's no Transformers, version like that, or nothing like that. So, but I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add to this? Any notes you made or anything that you want to talk about? That we kind of went over everything, I think.
Yeah, no, it's not really anything else. It's once again, it's a movie that just ends where it just decides to end, and it's like a movie that it just ends.
Yeah, that was weird. That's good point. On this, yeah, like it just ends. So we watch the softcore version, and then the three girls are with Eric Falk's character Mustafa, and they go, "You will pay us for that, and then we'll dispose the body or something."
No, I think they said you're going to give yourselves to us, and then we're going to collect our money.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. So I guess they're like freeing themselves from him, but I don't know if they killed him or if they just leave. But it's weird. It just happened, and it just goes to black. So I was like, that's weird. So I was like, well, let's watch the very, very end of the X-rated version, and it ends the same way. There's nothing besides the sex scene, but it ends the same way. It just stops. It's the weirdest non-ending, not even a cool because believe me, I love non-endings, but this is it just ends like it just stops.
Yeah, it just pans back till it's like kind of angled behind a lamp and like the table of the lamp, and then black.
Yeah, but even that it doesn't like pull back and cut. It just kind of like just pulls back, shows the scene, and then just kind of cuts. I think.
It's just like
you're just like, what happened? Like
as if you just got chloroformed.
Yeah, almost like the end of The Sopranos.
Oh yeah,
Just went to
basically,
black.
yeah.
Just
Basically, that's
black, and you're
exactly
like-
a good point.
You're like, did it cut out, or am I waiting for something? Yeah, it's kind of weird. I just thought about that as we're talking. It's like,
Yeah.
just black. You're like, okay. So yeah, I don't know.
yeah. Do they kill him, or do they just give him the time of his life? And he's like, oh yeah, go ahead, you're good.
Yeah,
Be
I know.
free.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
I know. I don't know. It's fucking stupid, really.
He looked like he was enjoying the scene, though. He looked
Yeah.
like he was enjoying filming the scene.
But once again, yeah, if you want to know what a vagina looks like, watch this movie. Franco goes full tilt, zooms in very close. Yeah, but what's really, I think, what's more important than this film is the stories behind it. And if you listened to the first half of the show, you'll hear about what I said about Lena Romay and Ramon Ardid, and why Lena Romay is not in this film or in quite a few films after this. And that was probably the most interesting thing, was learning about that situation between all of them and stuff. So, and also too learning about how the story of the Mandinga shoot before this, and what led Franco to being confined to shooting these films on strictly sets, no exteriors, no other cameramen, no other way he could shoot any footage for any other project besides what he is on track to shoot. So Dietrich basically made him his in-house filmmaker for these next few films. Yeah, he basically cut his nuts off and controlled him for these things. But when you're a filmmaker and you feel like you're controlled, you just don't make as good of a film, and that's what he did with these 3 films. He basically shot these out really quick to pay back Dietrich, because Dietrich got him out of a lot of jams, paid a lot of his bills, and he turned around and did this. So, I don't know. If Dietrich's happy, Dietrich, I'm sure, made money on these, did really well, so he was satisfied. Franco, on the other hand, was not artistic with these, wasn't the cameraman, probably didn't write them, just busted them out, did it for, solid work, just strictly commercial work. So that's what these films are. They're basically commercial films in a different way, not commercial as Hollywood commercial, but just strictly money-making films that are just there to make money, and that's about it. No really artistic merit or value. So sometimes films get that way. This is how business is. So, yeah, not to end on a dour note, but that's kind of what these films are, these 3 here in the cycle. But it makes you appreciate the ones to come, like Jack the Ripper and Love Letters of a Portuguese Nun, and the other cool ones that are coming up soon. So, hope you're doing well in 2021, and this will probably wrap up this episode 14 of the Franco Observer. This was Girls in Night Traffic, film 74, which I didn't mention earlier, 74. There was no 73, that was Mandinga, and you'll understand why if you listen to the first half of the program. So, that's just me wanting to hear my voice, and that's it. So, all right. That's it. Signing off.
All right. Beautiful nights.
Beautiful nights.